welcome back to Pita's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make my family's famous birria recipe. I'm also going to be showing you guys how to make some bomb salsa for your birria. If you like what you see, please stay tuned. What we have right in front of us is what we're going to use to make our birria. Birria takes 3 to 4 hours to cook. I would check it at 3 hours, see how tender it is, and go from there. And right in front of me, I have a little bit over 11 pounds of boneless beef chuck roast. I have half a cup of vinegar. I have our dried chiles. I already went ahead and I took out the seeds. I have 8 chile guajillos and 8 chile californias. Last but not least, we have our spices. These spices is what makes our broth and our birria taste so delicious. 2 main ingredients you cannot miss when making birria is our ginger and our vinegar. These are the ingredients we're going to use. It's 5 garlics, half a tablespoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of salt, 6 peppercorns, 2.5 tablespoons of consome, a small piece of ginger, a dash of oregano, 3 cloves, half a tablespoon of thyme, 5 bay leaves, and half a stick of cinnamon. We are going to boil our chiles for 10 to 15 minutes before we blend all our spices. So meanwhile, while our chiles are getting brought to a boil, we are going to cut up our meat in big chunks and put them into our pot. You basically want pieces like this. If you want, you could take out some of the fat. If your meat has too much fat, I wouldn't take all of it out because the grasita is what gives it flavor. In other words, the fat gives it flavor. Now add everything into our blender. Our half cup of vinegar, all of our spices. We're going to add the water of the chiles with the chiles. This recipe that I'm giving you guys is a very famous recipe in my family. This has been made in quinceañeras and bautizos and baby showers. So now we're going to add some of the juice.
As we are going to pour in our spices to our pot, we want to turn our stove on to a medium to high heat. I like to stir with a spoon so it could drain faster.
So as you guys could see, my meat is still peeking out. I have a little over 9 cups of water in my blender with the remaining spices. I am not going to strain this. I'm just going to add this into our pot until our meat is not peeking out anymore.
In total, I ended up using 18 cups of water to cover our birria.
Adding 6 tablespoons of consome. I'm going to drop in 3 bay leaves and give it a cover. So while our birria is cooking in the back, we're going to get started making the salsa. We're going to use 1 whole onion, a pinch of salt, a dash of cilantro, 2 garlics, 8 to 10 chiles de árbol. In my household, we like it more on the spicier side, so I'm using 10 chiles and 4 tomatoes. We're going to go ahead and get started by boiling our chiles and our tomatoes for 10 to 15 minutes. While our tomatoes and chiles are coming to a boil, we're going to start our salsa for the birria. We're going to use this tray right here to pour in our salsa. So I'm going to cut the onion, cut up our ends, my disposable sink. We're going to use half the onion for the blender. We're going to add our 2 garlics and our dash of salt. We'll just leave the salt here to see if we need to add more after we blend everything. Our cilantro and half of onion, we're going to chop it finely. I don't know about you guys, but onion always makes me cry. I've tried so many hacks and none of them have worked for me. If you guys have any hacks on how to cut onion without making you cry, please let me know because my eyes are super sensitive. And this is such a delicious salsa. Oops, that's my bird Coco. Say hi, Coco. Sorry, I just got off track. So this salsa is so delicious for birria. Every time, like I said before, my parents have made this birria for a lot of parties, and everybody's always asking for the salsa, like what you put in the salsa. Of course, they always ask like for the recipe. My parents have no problem giving it out. That's how I have it. I'm giving it to you guys because it's honestly so delicious. But they're just saying that this salsa is so good. It goes so good with birria. Okay, so now that we got a head start on our salsa, we're just waiting for our tomatoes and chiles to come to a boil. So now that our tomatoes and chiles came to a boil, we're going to add this into our blender, also with a cup of this water. So I like the consistency of it. It is not too watery. That's what we always want. You do not want a watery salsa. Sorry, the cap of my blender broke. I need to get another one. You guys see that? The consistency of it? Now let me get a spoon and get it. Smells so good, guys. The reason why we add onion and cilantro on top of already our blended tomato, garlic, and onion is just that it gives it like an extra texture to it, and it kind of gives you like a little bit of a crunch. Trust me, you gotta do it. Now let's get a taste. Ooh, that's spicy, but it's so good. Let me just give it a little bit more salt. Remember guys, salt is always to taste. Always start off small and then keep adding. Perfect. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Like, I'm just waiting on the meat to cook so I can eat. Our birria is going to be done in 15 minutes. Traditionally, birria is always complemented with onion, cilantro, and lime. Let's get started. Okay, now the cilantro time. I like to make it like a U. Squish it again. I feel like this is the easiest way into cutting cilantro. Our birria actually cooked within 3 exact hours. Now let's dive in and show you guys how tender this is. It just literally peels right off. This is the consistency of the meat that you want to have. It peels right off. Oh my gosh. It literally just melts in your mouth. It's so soft.